In this episode, the boys are still on the tracks. The final leg of the OTT, Nick has a shot at some overdue bush repairs, and then they head in search of the old coach road, where the action does not stop. So sit back and enjoy track 6, Cape York, Australia.
What do you think, Brody? First time on the OTT?
Pretty impressed.
Good fun?
Yeah,
Bit of a different country out here, isn't it?
it's crazy. Good to see.
It's been a good thing coming later in the year.
Yeah.
We've literally passed one vehicle, and that was this morning. We've had, I reckon there was 2 other groups we saw, but they were when we were camping on here, so
Camping at different spots.
different spots.
Been completely alone. No, it's been really good.
So I reckon we got one. I think Palm Creek is our last crossing. It's probably going to be dry, but it's meant to be pretty rutted out, so that'll be our last crossing. Then we'll be at Bramwell Roadhouse in about probably less than 5 k's. So
That'll be it.
that's the OTT.
Done and dusted. Back to Cohen for supplies.
Yeah, we'll try and get to Cohen, the Savo. We should make that quite easy, but yeah, bit of supplies, bit of washing, probably have a good shower,
That'll be
and then
not bad for a few of us.
wouldn't be a bad thing. Been swimming every day, but you don't quite get the good rinse off that a shower and a bit of soap does. So obviously not wanting to use soap in the water in the fresh streams.
Yeah,
Cause issues
do the right thing. So
for the ecosystem. They're going straight there, Marco. That's our turn. Yep. Back's about to slide down.
After an amazing campsite right on the water, this is Palm Creek, a dry, rutted creek bed with a serious entry to it. Nick spots the Jeep down to prevent any panel damage.
Yeah, the front's going to drop a bit more yet. Nice. Nice, Gary. Real good, pointies, please. Drive it on through, boy. You can just see his hand.
This is a steep descent, so from the driver's seat, you can't see anything. That's why you need someone out front to help put your tyres on the right line. Coming through here just after the wet season is a whole nother track. These banks are muddy and slippery, and the winch is out probably twice as much.
Marco's calling it early. He's got the tree trunk protector and the winch dampener. Exit could be nice.
What do you think?
Should be a good time. Yeah, she's steep. Very steep coming up.
Yeah, it's just a little bit off camber on the steep side of the bank, so we don't want our awnings rubbing against that. We've put a winch line on the opposite side to pull our truck over to the right, rather than you set a winch up over this side. It's going to want to drag you over. Probably cause that awning damage or side of your vehicle.
And one way to find out though.
Send the Jeep through first.
The exit is a steep one. Easily the steepest so far. So Mark already has a winch point good to go. As the Jeep drives through, you can see the size of the hole. Chewed away over the years, one vehicle at a time. But with a little wheel slip, there's enough traction to drive straight up it, much to everyone's surprise.
Have you plugged your winch in?
Yeah, winch is in. Don't you have any faith?
And just like that, the patrol is up too.
Yes, nicely done, the big girl.
Just fold the mirror back gently.
Yes.
It's back into it to knock out the final stretch of this amazing track. The last bit for the boys is a cruisy drive. They pop out back at Bramwell Roadhouse, where fuel is a luxury and the heavily salted hot chips was a necessity. Before too long, it's back onto the highway. Just down the road, Mark finds the Jeep pulling badly to one side when braking, indicating that one side just isn't braking at all. Dangerous on a road like this, so they pull over to have a look.
Brake line's squashed in the spring. Still got brakes, so it's not split.
Okay.
Well, brakes on one side.
We've clamped the brake line. The brake line's got a bit of play in it. Obviously they're all extended, but whilst flexing that side out, it's gone between the spring and springs come back down, and on that last steep exit on the OTT, the front spring fully extended and the brake line slipped under the spring. As the vehicle came back down, it jammed the brake line, and it only became noticeable once back up and running on road speeds.
Feels pretty squashed.
Can't believe it didn't puncture it. For the meantime, it's not leaking, so the boys remove it and check the brakes are still working.
Yeah, boys, that's fixed up. She's all good.
Happy days.
Too right.
After a long drive, the crew finally make camp, with plenty of time to look over the vehicle.
I'm going to try and get some four-wheel drive happening on this four-wheel drive. If we're going to tackle anything Old Coach Road or even Fraser for the rest of the trip, I definitely don't want to do Fraser or two-wheel drive. I don't want to be stuck on the side of the beach with the tide coming in and just being bogged in. So we'll hopefully it's hubs. I don't really know. They are pretty shitty, these hubs, so could be. This side, wheel bearing, I pulled these hubs off the other night at Bramwell Roadhouse there, and just to have a look. There's a fair bit of water sitting in this side, and I know the axle seal must be just leaking a bit of diff fluid through. You can see it dripping on the back of the swivel hub housing. So there's water getting in there too, and after doing a fair few crossings, especially Nolan, sitting in water that deep for that long, it's probably a bloody cup full of water in each hub as well. So I'm going to repack this wheel bearing, have a look at that one again after the telly track, and hopefully we'll be right to get home. I mean, I can get home until we'll drive, but I don't want to cause too much damage on other things. There's definitely water in there. This is what we pulled out. That's the inner wheel bearing. It's not what you want to really see. Got a new seal, new inner and outer bearing, so your full wheel bearing kit. Or in a GU Patrol, I wouldn't travel without one. They're a tiny box, that's the box it sits in, so it's like, for the sake of carrying that much, they're not heavy. It's an easy thing to carry, pretty easy thing to change, a little bit dirty, but it's definitely worth carrying.
As Nick works on the vehicle, the other lads freshen up, ready for a night out. Because tonight, there's roast pork on the menu at the local pub.
Nice. You carry that with you, do?
Yeah, I carry inner and outer. I've buffed them down on the linishing belt at home, so when you knock your bearing, the racer your bearing in, you can lift that back out, and keep them in my spares box, my kit. Makes, once again, not much weight, but makes things a lot easier.
As it turns out, that roast pork turned into a late evening, so a slow morning has everyone waking up with the sun beating down on the swags, with some a little slower than others.
We are on the road again this morning, pretty late at the start. Stayed at the pub last night at Cohen. Obviously, it got to some of us. Fixed the patrol, we reckon. Slapped in some new hubs, well, old second handies, but factory ones, so looks like we have four-wheel drive again, fingers crossed. And heading towards Laura at the moment, south, and heading basically over that way to do Old Coach Road. Hence why I wanted four-wheel drive. Not really sure what the condition's going to be like, or if it's going to be a tough drive or not, but we should be good now. So yeah, we've got another 140 k's to get down to Laura. Yeah, we'll go from there.
Although not a long drive, after a late start and a quick stop to check out a small town, everyone's happy to be rolling into the next camp. And a shady creek bed will be perfect to escape the 38-degree day.
I'm making a hammock.
You're making a hammock.
Making a hammock. Yeah. Out of straps. I'm trying to get old. We found a nice little campsite just out of Laura. Just down in a nice, well, huge dry creek bed.
It's sandy.
Very sandy, soft as. So it's a good test to make sure this four-wheel drive's working, which it is, so that's a bloody good time. We're a little bit worried there for a second. We might have had to change plans and not do Fraser on the way back down after we dropped these pinheads back. But no, so plans are still as per normal, as per usual.
Old Coach Road today.
Old Coach Road today. Beautiful. Should be good. I think it's going to be quite dry and dusty, but there's still meant to be a good couple of tough sections on it, according to people we've spoken to in recent times that have done it recently. So yeah, we're just heading back. We got to backtrack a couple k's, which isn't too bad. Yeah, it's nice having free camps with a nice creek bed.
Yeah,
which we all got a reasonably good sleep last night.
Yeah. A few bats flapping their wings.
Yeah, there's a few bombs dropped from the birds' buttholes.
A few missiles. But we survived.
We thought it might have been a nice few drops of rain going through the fly mesh on the swag, but it turns out it was bird shit.
Not quite.
Not quite as refreshing as we first thought. So yeah, back on the main drag for a couple k's. Get onto the start of Old Coach Road.
And away we go.
The Old Coach Road is reported to be one of the toughest tracks in the Cape, so as the sealed road turns to dirt, the excitement builds. As the maintained road crosses a river, it suddenly turns into a narrow track, and before long, the boys are out on foot before going any further.
What do you reckon, Mark?
It's a nice road in.
Very
Nice.
smooth.
Yeah, very nice. The boys air down and Mark disconnects the front sway bar thanks to the JKS quick disconnects. Mark's sticking to the left here. Due to there not being a clear line, one side of the vehicle is going to suffer either way. But with a bit of guidance out front and a steady foot, those Goodyear Wranglers crawl on down.
Have a look back there, Nick.
Nick's trying the other line here, keeping the right tyres high and dropping the left.
Might slide a little bit like that as you come over, but you'd be okay. Just roll her on in. Bit of a drop. Yeah, if you're looking good all round, you can keep creeping forward.
That feels a bit nicer.
Very good, mate, very good.
So far, the Old Coach Road has been a gradual incline that is barely even noticeable. But as the boys check their mirrors in a rare clearing, they realise that they have gained more altitude than first thought. This could well prove to be a hell of a view at the top. Not too far up, and there's another rocky section, slowly continuing to climb. With some loose big rocks in the way, the boys jump out to make some adjustments before driving it. Also gives them a better look at where they can best place their vehicle. With the incline increasing, the rocks are loose and wanting to roll, so it helps to avoid any wheel spin in these kind of scenarios. As for that view, it's one to stop and take in. The sheer remoteness is incredible.
Starting to warm up, that is for sure. Nice little rocky ledge section up here.
As everyone's out looking at how they're going to approach the next section, there's a crunch in the background.
Oh, man.
A crunch like that has all 4 lads sprinting back to the vehicles. The jeeps rolled down the hill and crashed into the front of the patrol, only inches away from rolling down a very steep hillside if it didn't stop where it did. Lucky is an understatement. With a cracked tail light, a dent and a bit of paint missing, this is a good reminder that the Wrangler's handbrake is next to useless, and Mark needs to leave it in gear every time he gets out.
Nice. The old handbrake strikes again.
The tail light damage.
Yeah, lucky considering the circumstance. All things considered, that's fucking lucky. Fucking on.
Here's a solid reminder of how things can go wrong so quickly. A simple error could have resulted in losing the Jeep. Not an ideal situation given the remote location. But with a lesson learnt, back to that rock ledge. The first section has a large hole right in the middle that narrows up. The Jeep pulls up at fine with nothing but a bit of tyre slip. And a moment for the Jeep to catch its breath. And right after that is a second ledge. Nothing too hard, although daunting at first glance.
Nice little rocky ledge section up here. Marco's coming up it, not too bad. See if we can pick a nice line. Proven to be a nice track actually, pretty scenic. It's nice having a bit of a rocky climb and then having a view at the top.
The track is now all rock, leaving smaller ledges and washouts to navigate.
Got very lucky there. Marco's handbrake in the Jeep still obviously issues. He knows it. He thought he was on flat enough ground, and then we all took off, and it must have just been slowly gaining speed. And lucky it hit the patrol on that rear quarter of Marco's Jeep, because who knows where that could have gone otherwise. A little bit of damage in tail light, popped the guard out, and a little bit of panel damage, but we've still got a vehicle and it's not running down the hill, so got very lucky there. Very lucky. Basically we have to stop the car and put it in gear to stop it from rolling. That's how crap the handbrake is in the Jeep. And it's a known issue for all Jeeps, not just that one. So
After checking the track and hearing that crunch.
Oh, when we're all walking away from vehicles, I just hear crunch.
Yeah. Where's it gone or what's happened?
I knew what happened straight away as soon as I heard it, but
I thought it was your rear wheel carrier shutting.
Yeah.
But no, it's
Getting
doing
a quick sandwich.
There's still some open, dusty trails between the difficult sections, giving you just enough time to look at the clock and realise it's time to stop for lunch. After lunch, the track starts getting serious, with steep rutted descents and loose rocky climbs. And to make it even harder, it's the hottest part of the day, with temperatures reaching the 40s. It's slow going and dusty work. This kind of a track could easily puncture a few tyres if you're not careful. And the further the track goes, the harder it gets, including some heavily rutted driving right on the edge of the cliff. If you don't have the suspension travel out here, you'd want to make sure you're twin locked, because slipping off the line is not going to end well. It's been the hottest day of the trip by far, so everyone's ready to get off the slow stuff and on the way to a campsite. 6 hours of low range is enough for one day, especially with a long drive still ahead. The terrain has been completely different to what they've tackled so far this trip, and after a dry rocky creek bed, the old coach road has come to an end. And with not another soul to be seen, it makes you feel like even more of a tiny speck on a huge bit of awesome dirt. After completing the old coach road, it's back into civilization. The boys run into a familiar face in Cape Tribulation and make the most of a couple of days kicking back in the popular holiday destination, before they farewell Jordan and Angus and head straight for a little island getaway. But as always, nothing goes to plan.